Louisiana beer reviews. Hoegaarden Revisited. Wit Blanche. White. White in Dutch. White in French. Why Dutch and French? Well, I'll tell you why in a minute. Well, okay, when I first did this review, it was about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago. And I had it so cold, I didn't know about, I was raised, beer is supposed to be ice cold, and I poured it in the glass, the thing was frozen, it wouldn't even come out. Still tasted really good, but it's not supposed to be that cold. All right. February 29th, 2016, 4.9% alcohol. Okay, it says rinse and freeze the Hoegaarden hexagonal glass. I don't have a glass like that, okay, so I cannot do that. Pour, so they're saying a frozen glass. They're not saying the beer should be frozen. Pour 2/3 into the glass. They're showing it angled. Swirl a bottle. Pour the rest to form the head. Okay. Best before the end of, best before the end of February 29, 2016. Okay. Beautiful bottle, always thought that. From Belgium. An Anheuser-Busch InBev brand. We know they have been going around buying up so many companies. Why do they buy up the companies? Because there's a lot of profit in these exotic beer brands. 11.2 ounces, not a full 12 ounces. Bought this at a Martin wine cellar today. Wheat beer brewed with spices. What spices? Coriander and orange peel. It says ungefilterd van nature trobel. Non filtré naturellement trouble. Unfiltered, naturally cloudy. Trouble, cloudy. How you like that? All right. Showing the old monk symbol of the monks. If you look carefully. All right. There's a fascinating website for Hoegaarden, okay? If you look on their website, they're showing this beer and all the history of it and how it's made, really detailed how they make it, so it's really good to watch or to look at. And they show all these Hoegaarden brands that we can't get, like the Rosé, the Grand Cru, which is really strong, the Special, only sold in Belgium. Then there's a history. Some of it is accurate, like how they had so many different wheat beer companies in Hoegaarden, Belgium, and then in 1957 the last one went out of business and it was a dead thing. And then Pierre Celis, who just died about 4 years ago, he was so adamant that this style not die out, so he recreated the white wheat beer style. He revolutionized to a large extent the beer industry, and he's so famous. And this is one of the beers in the book, 300 Beers to Have Before You Die. And he had a lot of bad luck with he was a good brewer, but his business ability maybe wasn't so good, but his brewery burnt down, and then he came to America and was in Texas trying to do it, and that didn't go so well. And then he helped this company in Michigan make wonderful beers like the Celis Grand Cru, which probably is very similar to the one in Belgium, and I loved it. It's like 8% alcohol. That company went out of business in 2010. So, but there's some inaccuracies on the website. They're talking about, okay, the company was founded in 1445 when Belgium was still part of the Netherlands. That's correct. Underneath the Holy Roman Empire, okay, it was part of the Holy Roman Empire, the First Reich. The original Germany, okay? The original Germany since the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476. But then there's some mistakes. We're talking about how the monks in the Belgian part of Netherlands would bring in this coriander from Curacao, one of the islands, one of the colonial islands of the Netherlands. Well, the Netherlands did have colonies around the world, and in fact, Curacao is still part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. It's a self-governing part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Here's the problem. They didn't start colonizing until the 1600s. because the Netherlands was owned by Spain within the empire. It was the Habsburgs and the Spanish Habsburgs that owned the Netherlands, and the Protestant Calvinism, the Protestant, we call them Presbyterians, but the Calvinists in that part of the Netherlands revolted against Spain. And why is Belgium separate today? Because those Dutch and French stayed Catholic, and that's why you had that split. And it finally ended up in a permanent split in the 1830s when the Catholic Belgians broke away from the Calvinist Dutch. And that was over 20 years, over 20 years after the Holy Roman Empire was dissolved. Anyway, you say, well, it's not a history lesson. I know, but it's part of it because that's what you're going to read on the website. I'm just giving you some more accurate information. So they might have used coriander from Curacao, but it sure wasn't in 1445. Maybe in 1645, after they had broken away from the Spanish kingdom, the Kingdom of Spain and Spanish Empire. They still remained within the Holy Roman Empire until 1648, though. Okay, in the Belgian part, the Spanish Netherlands, and then later the Austrian Netherlands, stayed within the Holy Roman Empire until the 1790s when the French, Revolutionary French invaded and took it. Not much of a head, but I don't have the proper glass, but it's very hazy. Looks like some hazy grapefruit juice or pineapple juice. Very bubbly though, like you would expect from a wheat beer. It smells like coriander. It smells like orange. It smells like white wheat bread. And you know, this might be an InBev beer. And it was always a mass-produced beer, okay, since 1965 when it was reconstituted, really. But it's getting very high scores on Beer Advocate and Rate Beer. Look that up. You'll see very high scores. Very high scores! As John Sinclair might say. That is so spicy, so coriander, so citrus, so wonderful, and so much better than most of the kinds that I drink from this style. This guy Pierre Sellers knew what he was doing. It's so spicy, like white pepper, you know, that's coming from the coriander, and the subtle orange peel, and the white wheat, and that medium soft mouthfeel. Does have an underlying tap water flavor. You're going to get that with wheat beer, sorry. That semi-dry finish, that awesome drinkability, that wonderful refreshment. Well, they have a lot of wheat beers. There's a lot of white wheat beers, but this is probably the best. They were talking on the website, kind of bragging about how they just recently won the European Star Bronze Award. Yep, the Bronze Award. Not gold, not silver, but bronze. That's pretty good, because those competitions, they have a lot of beers in them, those competitions. Now, if I was looking to drink a wheat beer, and actually, I never look to drink a wheat beer. I don't really like the style. Don't really care for coriander in a beer. And you know, coriander is the same stuff they make cilantro with. You know, in the pico de gallo sauce. But if I was looking to drink a white wheat beer, and I don't think I ever would be, this would be the one I'd go for, man. It's $1.49 for a single, and it'd be cheaper in a 6-pack. It's so creamy. It's so wonderful. It's so awesome. This is an awesome beer. You gotta drink this beer. What is a wheat beer? Anyway, enough kidding around about John Sinclair, but the spiciness is like so perfect. Okay, well, I'd love to try all the rest of that lineup. It's an A+, man. I mean, let's just cut to the chase. It's an outstanding beer. A+ all the way. I cannot hold back. So, laissez-les bon temps roulé, wonderfulness in a bottle. I'm going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to Louisiana. Louisiana!